I'm Lindsay Klein, and we are coming on the air as Greensboro city officials are now in a press conference reacting to the ACC Commissioner's announcement of future championships through 2030. There's a lot to unpack here, and the coveted men's basketball tournament will only be in Greensboro in 2027 and 2029. The women's tournament will be in Greensboro this year, as previously announced, in 2025. So let's listen into city leaders as they react to the news right now in Greensboro.
All of the other sports that we attract here to the city of Greensboro. So Tournament Town is alive and well. We are excited about what's coming up, and we know that we are going to continue to do a great job for the ACC coaches, athletes, and for their fans. I know that we always hear from the fans that this is one of the best experiences that they have when they come to Greensboro. And we know that our tournaments are extremely profitable for the ACC and their member schools. And we look forward to continuing that relationship. So I'm going to turn it over to Richard Beard, who is the president of the Greensboro Sports Foundation.
Thank you, Mayor. It is a great day for Greensboro and Tournament Town to have these 15 ACC championships announced. You know, back in June of 2021, when the mayor was contacted by the ACC about a potential move of the headquarters, there were certainly a lot of people in the community that felt like that if we lose the headquarters, we would never see some of these championships return. And I'll say that we had an incredible group of community leaders that had the vision that we needed to stay in the rotation of these ACC championships with or without the headquarters. And today we get to celebrate this vision and the success of this. I also want to bring to your attention someone in the room that deserves a lot of credit for today, and that's Scott Johnson, our deputy manager of the Greensboro Coliseum, who did all the hard negotiating with the ACC and in a very, very quick timeline. And he stayed on it and did a great job, and we're here today to celebrate that. I do want to point out a few highlights of what we've heard today. And as many of you all heard, and as we've been planning for some time, 2024, in a few weeks, we're going to certainly have the ACC Swimming and Diving Championships that we've been so blessed to host for many years and will continue. But Greensboro will have the first ever ACC Gymnastics on March, the competition I believe is March 23rd. And if you're keeping up with ACC Gymnastics, there are only about 4 schools that participate now, but the crowds that have been attending these gymnastics has been incredible, and we're already hearing that ticket sales for the first ever ACC Gymnastics in Greensboro is better than I believe that they expect, and that comes from our success with USA Gymnastics and some of the great events we've had here in the Greensboro Coliseum for gymnastics, and when the ACC needed a location to have their first ever, who did they call? But they called Greensboro. I also want to highlight that the 2027 men's tournament will be the 60th anniversary of our first ACC championship here in the Greensboro Coliseum. And that's important because this facility has been expanded twice, primarily for the men's ACC tournament. So we have the Greensboro Coliseum here and this great asset to the community because of our relationship with these ACC championships, and the city who has hosted more championships than anywhere else within the footprint, and we're very proud of that. Lastly, I want to highlight 2029 for the media because not only did they announce today that we have 3 ACC championships with men's and women's swimming and diving, men's basketball will come back, and women's golf, but that year is an epic year for Greensboro and Tournament Town and our sports tourism because that same year we'll be hosting the World University Games. First time it's been in the United States since 1993, and coming off of the 2028 Olympics in LA, that should really bring a lot of attention to this community, and we need to be proud of that. But then 2 weeks after the World University Games, we'll have the AAU Junior Olympics, which will be hosted in Greensboro this summer, 2024, thanks to the CVB and Henry Fourier's leadership. We have hosted the AAU Junior Olympics in it was 2019, 2022, 24, and then we'll have it in 29 and 2033. And just to highlight a little bit about AAU Junior Olympics, over 18,000 athletes come to the community for that, and that's not an exaggerated number. 18,000, 15,000 of them at A&T in track and field, which is known each year as the world's largest track and field event, the AAU Junior Olympics, every year. So we've got a lot to be proud of when it comes to sports tourism in these championships. And lastly, I'll say that the reason that we are so successful is because of the incredible facilities that our community has here. And it's just another point that we have to keep these facilities up to par in competing with cities like Charlotte, like Raleigh, Cary, and these other locations that have seen the success of Tournament Town and sports tourism in Greensboro, and these other communities are following suit by trying to catch up and exceed us in certain points. So we're going to continue as a community to improve our facilities, enhance our facilities, and expand our facilities. So with that, I guess we'll turn it over to questions.
Anybody have questions for Richard, or we can bring the mayor back up? Whatever works for everybody.
Skip Foreman, News and Record, to both you, Richard, and the mayor. You gave a percentage of what you got out of what this announcement brought today. Is that a number you're happy with or satisfied with, or is it something you just wish maybe a couple more events could have been brought this way?
Well, of course, you always want more, right? I mean, if we could have gotten them all, we would have been happy with that. I do have to say, I am personally disappointed that we did not get the men's basketball tournament for 2028, which will be their 75th anniversary. We played the 50th anniversary here in Greensboro, did a phenomenal job. They were founded here in Greensboro. This is really what the ACC is all about. And to play it somewhere else, I think, to me, is extremely heartbreaking.
I'd like to add to that. I mean, yes, we always want to have more, and we'd like to have them all, but that's not realistic. But it does identify some opportunities that we have, and I talk a lot about facilities, but I look through the list at some of the championships that are going to other communities, and that kind of hurts a little bit, but it gives us opportunity to improve our facilities and to be able to attract more. And there are a few pockets within the schedule that maybe we can grab one or two other championships along the way.
Amber Lake, WFMY News 2. When you talk about those improvements and enhancements, do you have anything in mind as what you want to focus on moving forward to make that happen?
Throughout the community, or here at the Coliseum, or?
Here at the Coliseum and the sporting facilities.
Well, I think we can look right over here and see what a world-class facility that's kept pristine at all times does for a community. Our aquatic center, and the reason that the ACC continues to come back to our aquatic center, you look at some of the ACC schools, they have a lot of Olympians on their teams, or potential Olympians. And these Olympians or potential Olympians are swimming in a lot of other events here. USA Swimming considers our aquatic center one of only 4 in the country that can host some of these events. So that's a good example of, build it and build it right, and they will come. But we need to continue to invest. The arena is, we've expanded it twice from the original arena, and Scott and Matt Brown and their great staff do a great job to keep it relevant. But there's some improvements to this facility that you just don't see when you're driving by because some of the soffit or the ephes that surrounds the top of this arena is 25, 30 years old with a 20-year expectancy. So it's just to keep it relevant, and but also to invest in other facilities throughout the community that we can host these championships. City of Greensboro made a great decision to invest American Rescue funds into improving Bryan Park Soccer Complex, and that's ongoing right now with new lights and some additional turf. And that will not only help the local soccer community and our kids that are playing out there, or some adults that play out there that are standing in this room, but it helps us recruit other national events and heads and beds. We're all about heads and beds. You know, can we attract these events that are going to bring people here that are going to enjoy our community and spend money and go back home?
And, you know, I think we've been very open about the challenges that we're facing with some of our facilities. They do have some age on them. They have been well-maintained over the years, but they are getting close to the end of their useful life. We know that we need to make some significant investments, and we're looking at revenue streams that would make that possible. This is a wonderful building. It has always been expanded to meet needs of the ACC. As you know, the arena has gotten some age on it. They've added new restrooms, new boxes, new locker rooms. There have been a lot of investments over the years, but we need to make some more investments, and especially when you look at soccer. Awful lot of kids are playing soccer right now. We do have great facilities at Bryan Park, but they're beginning to show some age on them. So, you know, we're realistic. We know that we need to continue to invest in these facilities, just like we continue to invest in the aquatic center. We saw the need for a fourth pool, and we were able to get that in and under budget, and we want to be able to do some similar things to these other facilities.
This question would be for both of you. How do you feel about the women's basketball tournament leaving after 2025?
You know, I just want to say that I am really proud of the way that the Greensboro Coliseum has run the women's basketball tournament. When you walk into the women's or the men's, you don't really know which is which, except maybe for the color on the floor, because we did the women's basketball tournament to the same standard that we did to the men's basketball tournament. And that's really before it was cool to do that. We really were the trendsetters. We wanted the women's basketball players to know that we were excited to have them here, their coaches and their fans. And I think any other place that is going to try to replicate what we're doing is going to find it very difficult. It's very expensive to run a tournament of that quality, and not scrimp on the extras that we're adding for the women's basketball team. So I really feel that they will be back because we have set the standard when it comes to that tournament.
And a follow-up question to that is, it says in 2027 it'll be in Charlotte. Do you know where it's going to be in 2026?
We don't have that.
Yeah, it's not.
North Carolina Championships, which were announced today.
Yeah, one thing I want to say about the women's, I mean, in March, we have it'll be the 24th time we've hosted the women's tournament. Greensboro and the ACC staff will tell you, I mean, Greensboro has been a great partner to build that into the premier women's basketball tournament in the country that other conferences, including the SEC and the Big Ten, are modeling after what Greensboro has partnered with the ACC to do. And next year we'll celebrate the 25th, but it's a new financial model that they're exploring. So we're hoping that we'll have future opportunities.
Do you plan to go after 26, the women's in 26, or is that not up for your need?
I'm going to let Scott, if he wants to address that. He does all the hard negotiating, but.
Yeah, as Richard mentioned, we're in a new financial model, so we're trying it out for 2 years. Would we like 26 and 28? Yes, we just have to go through a process and see, and we'll chase it. They have other decisions to make as well.
questions. If not, we can do some one-on-ones if anybody has requests. Thanks to all for being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, you have been listening to Greensboro city officials reacting to the ACC's announcement of where future championships are going to be held from here on out. The men's tournament will be in Greensboro 2027 and 2029. The women's will be there this year and then again in 2025. And we do have some more breaking news to inform you on, this time from Washington. Special counsel Robert Hirsch says there's evidence President Biden, quote, willfully retained and disclosed classified materials after his time in office as the vice president. While the special counsel says the president's practices, quote, present serious risks for national security, he will not be charged. You can tune in to WXII 12 News at 4 for the latest regarding these breaking stories. For now, we're going to send you back to your regularly scheduled programming.